When you see a headline with asylum seekers or asylum seeker, for example, you often straight away think of the Channel crossings, and you think about people from such countries as Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Sudan, just to name a few. But what we've seen a trend of, especially in 2022, 2021, is people coming from Central America, especially El Salvador. There's been cases, obviously, people coming from Honduras and Guatemala as well. And it's quite strange to see this because you actually think, well, why are these people crossing the Atlantic and wanting to come to the UK? You think straight away if they're going to come to Europe, they'd want to go to Spain, obviously because they speak Spanish. You know, they don't speak English; it's not the first language, and with no correlation with the nation. It's not like a former colony. There's nothing there between us as nations, as people, etc. So you do ask, why do they come here? Well, some of the reasons they actually give is gang violence. As we know, some of these Central American countries are notorious. El Salvador is, for example, for its gang violence, its death rate, etc. Then we've got much the same with Honduras and Guatemala. They do cite this gang violence, and that's one of the reasons a lot of the younger people come over, but also families come over, citing that as a reason. When I say come over, they'll fly over, they might fly into Manchester, they could fly to Gatwick, Heathrow, then they will claim asylum. And in some cases, they do actually fly in from mainland Europe, and again, in some cases, from Spain. So again, another reason why they come here as well is sexual preference. For example, if they're gay or if they're transgender, they'll cite that as a reason, because obviously these countries where they come from in some respects used to be very traditional, conservative, the Catholic faith, so they're not really on board with what's going on, especially in the sort of what's going on with transgender, non-binary sort of people, etc. So that's another reason or excuse they use for when they're coming over to this country to claim asylum. There was a famous case last year in 2021 where the UK had the first non-binary refugee, believe it or not. And again, that was from El Salvador. We've seen a poet come over. He cited political reasons why he's claimed asylum. We've seen doctors come over. Allegedly, they say the doctors, and they've come over. They've claimed asylum for various reasons, and they're citing the government, respective governments for the respective countries they come from, saying that their life's under threat because they've been outspoken about what's going on. There's numerous reasons. I've seen imagery of women, just single women or families coming over. I don't know particularly why the reason they've come over. They're not actually cited, or they've never actually spoken in public to say why they've come over. So your guess is as good as mine. They could be saying again domestic violence. I could mention that because I've actually seen that mentioned on several occasions. I've read that, or I've actually heard them verbally say that. Some of these women have come from various countries and claim domestic violence, which seems a bit bizarre to me, because domestic violence is a worldwide thing. It's not just exclusive to, say, El Salvador or other countries where some asylum seekers come from, women who claim asylum because of domestic violence. So yeah, it's a litany of reasons why they come over, and like I said, in most cases, the asylum seekers, or I will call them economic migrants, because that's what I think most of them are, the majority are. They will eventually be given right to stay, and I think the way things are at the moment, they're fast tracking things, the government, because there's that many in the system at the moment. So, there will be more pushback against what's going on, and eventually these people will be allowed to settle here. They're allowed, like I said, claim asylum, and after so many years, 5 years, they'll get a British passport. But in between that time, they will also have an opportunity, and it'll be tax paid free, but they will have an opportunity to bring the families over from the respective countries where they actually came from, through the family reunification, irregular migration, etc. So they're only going to bring more people over with them as well. So it's not just them coming over, it's more people as well, which is quite annoying, to be honest with you, but that's how things are at the moment in respect of asylum seekers being allowed to bring the families over at a certain time after they've been given asylum. So that's what I just thought I'd make this little thing to just make people aware of what's going on. Again, most people who are sort of in the loop will know about South Americans coming over. And when I say South Americans, I really mean Central America, because that does seem to be where most of these people come from in respect of the South Americas, Central America. It's El Salvador, Guatemala and Honduras where they're coming from. But El Salvador there's quite a lot. And when I say a lot, I don't mean into the thousands, but well into the hundreds what have come over this year. The government is trying to curtail actual make it a little bit more difficult for people from El Salvador to come here via visas and stuff like that, but try to scrutinise that, but it still hasn't stopped people coming here. Like I said, there's different ways you can get here. Like I said, you can go into mainland Europe like some people have done, exactly Spain. They might stay in Spain for so many weeks, months, because they might have even have relatives. There'll be like a network working with these people. Then eventually they'll come over to the UK because for whatever reason they might not particularly like Spain, they might not have what they think's their ideal life, and they might head over to the UK, which is, like I said, it's just a bit of a farce. But I'm pretty certain, and I'm pretty certain in saying that some people, some individuals do that as well. So yeah, I just thought I'd just put this little video up there just to make people aware of what's going on. Obviously, we do hear about this stuff on a daily, weekly basis, and we do sort of get transfixed with different, say, nationalities. But when I say transfixed with different nationalities, what I mean is the same sort of people from Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Iran, and Sudan, just to name a few, because obviously there's a lot more than that coming over at the moment. And that's it really. So yeah, thanks a lot. Take care and God bless.